It's 2022. At a research clinic in Texas, a woman walks in, weighing 263 pounds. 3 kids, a husband, a job she can barely get through, and a voice in the back of her head that will not shut up. Her name is not public. She is known only as Subject 247, and she is about to become part of the largest weight loss breakthrough modern medicine has ever seen. 10 months later, she walks out of that same clinic 87 pounds lighter. The drug she was given is called Retatrutide, and in the biggest weight loss trial ever run on a drug, it did what no drug in history had ever done. More weight than Ozempic, more weight than Zepbound, more weight than any drug ever put into a human body. The most effective weight loss drug ever tested in a person, all from a single shot, a week. The New England Journal of Medicine said nothing had ever worked this well, without a knife. Then, on September 9th, 2025, the FDA sent more than 40 warning letters in a single day and shut the whole thing down. Your doctor cannot prescribe it. No drugstore in America can sell it. And most Americans have never even heard its name. So what is the truth? This is the story of Retatrutide, the woman who lost 87 pounds in 10 months, a federal lawsuit that could lock this drug away for 12 years, and a single missing amino acid that will decide whether anyone in America ever sees it again. You just met Subject 247. Here is the part of her story that matters most. She had tried, God, she had tried, Weight Watchers 3 times, keto, intermittent fasting, a trainer for 18 months. The scale moved, then it came back. Then it came back heavier. And every time the weight came back, the quiet voice behind the loud voice said the same thing. The problem must be me. She had been told it was her fault for 30 years. The thing she was running from, and could never outrun, had a name she did not yet know. The researchers called it food noise, that voice in the back of her head that never stopped. Not hunger, food, what to eat next, what was in the fridge, whether the kids had left leftovers in the fridge. It ran from the moment she woke up until she finally got to sleep. Then she enrolled in a trial, 1 shot a week, and 2 weeks in, for the first time since she was a teenager, the voice went quiet. And it wasn't just the food. Patients in the trial reported drinking less, smoking less, scrolling their phones less. The drug was quieting something bigger than hunger. Researchers didn't have a name for it yet, but they were watching the same mechanism that drives every craving in the human brain turned down. She didn't know it yet, but she was one of 338 people in that trial. And what they found was about to change everything medicine knew about weight loss, and it was about to be buried. In the summer of 2023, the results of that trial hit the New England Journal of Medicine, the biggest journal in medicine, the one doctors actually read. And when they read it, something broke, because the numbers weren't just good, they were impossible. At the top dose, the average person lost almost a quarter of their body weight. On a 240-pound person, that is 58 pounds, gone, in under a year. And about 3/4 of what came off was fat. Not muscle, not water, fat. That was the number that quietly changed everything, because every other weight loss drug on the market comes with a warning. Some of what you lose is muscle. This one didn't, but that wasn't the part that stopped the doctors cold. Every weight loss drug ever tested hits a wall. Your body catches on. The drop stops. It's why diets fail. It's why your body finds the weight again. This drug never hit the wall. When the trial ended, the people on it were still losing weight. The curve didn't flatten. Dr. Ania Jastreboff, the lead investigator at Yale, said the drug had not shown them its limit yet. The trial simply ran out of weeks. And then there was what the drug was doing inside the body. In another trial, the drug was tested on people with diabetes. More than 7 in 10 walked in with high blood sugar. Their readings came back in the normal range. A second study put them in scanners and looked at their livers. The livers of 100 million Americans now have fat stuck inside them, the silent kind, the kind that kills you slowly. On the top dose, more than 80% of that fat was gone in under a year. The researchers had a name for what the drug was doing: triple agonist. You don't need to know what that means. Here is what you need to know. Ozempic hits one switch in the body. 1. It tells you to eat less. Mounjaro hits 2 switches: eat less, stop fighting the drop. Retatrutide hits 3. Eat less, stop fighting the drop, and burn more energy on top of eating less. 3 switches. No other drug has ever flipped the third one. A furnace running while the door closes. The doctors in that room in 2023 were reading a paper about a drug that did something medicine had not seen in 30 years. And the very last line of the paper said it plain: that much weight had only ever come off under a knife. This was a drug that beat surgery. Without a knife, without a recovery room, without a single stitch. And you are about to learn why your doctor cannot write you a prescription for it. 2 years pass. Subject 247 was not alone. Eli Lilly knew it. They started a second trial, a bigger one. This is the trial the drug has to pass to be sold in America. It is called Triumph 4, and the number it puts up is bigger than anything from 2023. December 11th, 2025. Lilly puts out the first results. The number is 28.7%. On a 250-pound man, that is 71 pounds gone, while he slept, while he ate normal food, while he lived his normal life. Here is what that means. Pay attention. Ozempic changed Hollywood and Wall Street, but in its biggest trial, it got people to 15%. Zepbound, same drug family, newer, stronger, got them to 22%. Past the drugs, there is only one thing in medicine that has ever worked better: a knife. Actual weight loss surgery. They cut out part of the stomach. They change how you eat forever. The best that surgery does is 25 to 30%. Retatrutide landed at 28.7%, matching the knife, without the knife. And then there was what kind of fat it was coming off. 2 kinds of fat sit on the human body: the kind under your skin, what you can grab, and the kind wrapped around your organs. The silent kind, the kind that kills you. Retatrutide didn't touch them equally. Belly fat, the dangerous kind, came off more than twice as fast as the rest. That is why the doctors stopped calling it by its name. They started calling it something else: the Godzilla of GLP-1s. It was not a compliment, it was a warning, because Godzilla is what shows up when nothing else in the city can stop it. And the doctors saying it knew something that wasn't in the papers yet. Almost 6 in 10 people on the top dose lost a full quarter of their body weight or more. These are people who walked into the doctor's office in one body and walked out in another. People like Subject 247. People who had been told for decades that the problem must be them. But the numbers are real. Numbers no other drug has touched. This should have been the moment. The moment when the 4 in 10 American adults carrying too much weight finally got a real answer. When the millions of people who had tried every plan and still could not lose, it were finally told it wasn't their fault. A long overdue win. But that is not what happened. Because while the Triumph 4 numbers were making headlines in December, a very different story was already being written at the FDA. And somewhere in their filings, 2 amino acids were about to become the most expensive words Eli Lilly had ever typed. The person who would feel it first was Subject 247. Subject 247 walked out of that Texas clinic at 176 pounds. She did not stay there, because when a trial ends, the drug goes with it. But for a while, there was a side door. It is called compounding. A licensed pharmacy, under US law, can make a drug inside its own walls when there is a shortage or a need. That is how millions of Americans got Ozempic and Zepbound when those drugs ran out. And through 2024, that is how some Americans, including women like subject 247, kept their Retatrutide going. Then September 9th, 2025 happened. On one day, the FDA sent more than 40 warning letters to compounding pharmacies across America. Retatrutide was named. The letters said the drug cannot be compounded under US law. Not now, not later, not at all. And then the FDA did something almost nobody saw. It sent one more letter, quiet, to the Federation of State Medical Boards, the group that signs off on every doctor in every state. That letter warned every doctor in America who was writing for this drug to stop. Inside 60 days, the side door slammed shut. The online companies stopped, the pharmacies stopped, the doctors stopped, and subject 247's next shot never came. She was not the only one. Retatrutide is the loudest. There are nearly 24 others. The FDA hopes you never read their names. The Peptide BLACKBOOK has all of them. They tell you what happened. We tell you what's coming. $7, less than your last copay. If you were tired of being told you are fine when you know you are not, first link in the description. Read it tonight. Now, the court case that could bury Retatrutide forever. On September 3rd, 2024, Eli Lilly sued the FDA, not over the science, not over the safety, over one word. The FDA had labeled Retatrutide a drug. Lilly wanted it labeled something else, a biologic. Here is why that one word matters. A drug can be compounded. 5 years of lock-in, then cheaper copies show up. A biologic cannot be compounded, ever. 12 years of lock-in, and when those years end, the copies are still expensive. That one label is the difference between a $300 side door and a $1,200 front door that stays locked until 2040. So what was Lilly fighting about in court? Amino acids. An amino acid is a building block. Proteins are made of them, under FDA rules. A biologic needs more than 40 of them. Retatrutide's main chain has 39. A second short chain has 2 more. Together, that is 41. The FDA said the second chain does not count. 39, too short. Drug. Lilly said it does count. 41, biologic. The whole fight is about 2 amino acids. And last year, Lilly won the first round. On September 30th, 2025, a US judge threw out the FDA's decision. In February, Lilly asked a bigger court to finish the job. That bigger court has not ruled yet. But when it does, the answer changes everything. If Lilly wins, the side door closes forever. The $300 compounded version, gone overnight. The $1,200 approved version, locked in until 2040. 12 years, no cheaper copy, no generic, no side door, all because of 2 amino acids. 2 amino acids are the difference between the drug that took £87 off subject 247 and a drug no American will legally see for 12 years. The most powerful weight loss drug ever made, sitting on a shelf, waiting for a clock that is not yours. The FDA is not done. Every month, another compound moves from the legal shelf to the banned list. The peptide world is bigger than Retatrutide. There are compounds the research backs for deep sleep, for joint pain that never quit, for gut problems your doctor wrote off as stress, for the mental sharpness you had in your 30s. Every one of them is mapped inside the Peptide BLACKBOOK. Named, dated, explained. The ones the research backs, the ones it doesn't. The next one's on the chopping block. $7, one time, yours to keep. Click the first link in the description. Read it tonight. Because the next time you walk out of a 15-minute doctor visit feeling unheard, you will know exactly what they didn't tell you, and exactly what to do about it. But Retatrutide is not the only drug the FDA has buried. It happened again. Different peptide, same playbook. Its name is BPC157. Millions of people swore by it. Athletes, injury patients, veterans. The FDA put it on a list most Americans will never hear about. Your doctor stopped writing for it overnight. And the reason why will make you sick. Click the video on your screen right now.